all about North Korea for kids. One of the most isolated countries in the world is the country of North Korea. And today, we are going to learn more about this mysterious place. Let's get started. North Korea's official name is the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. It covers the northern part of the Korean Peninsula, which is surrounded by the Sea of Japan to the east, the Yellow Sea to the west, and part of the Pacific Ocean. To the south is the country of South Korea. To the north, China and Russia. The island nation of Japan can be found almost 600 miles east of North Korea. The country is divided into 9 areas called provinces and about 28 cities. The capital city of North Korea is Pyongyang, which is the largest city. Pyongyang's population is around 2.5 million. It is estimated the total population of the country is about 25 million people. Here is an interesting fact. North Korea is over 46,000 square miles in area, which is about the size of the state of Pennsylvania in the United States. Pretty wild. The landscape of the country is mostly hills and mountains that are separated by narrow, deep valleys. North Korea has 3 land regions: Eastern Coastal Lowlands, Northern Mountains, and the Northwest Plain. Most of the population lives in the Northern Plain region. The Northern Mountains region is the largest of the 3. 2 of the largest mountain ranges in the country are the Nangnim Mountains, which are located in the central northern part of North Korea and run from north to south. The Hamgyong Mountains are located in the northeast part of the country. The Hamgyong Mountains are sometimes called the Korean Alps because they are the tallest mountain range in Korea. The tallest mountain in North Korea is called Paektu Mountain. It has an elevation of over 9,000 feet above sea level. This mountain holds a special place in North Korean culture and folklore. Besides the surrounding seas, other bodies of water in North Korea include the Korea Bay, Yalu River, Tumen River, Taedong River, and the Imjin River, which forms part of the border with South Korea. North Korea's mineral resources include coal, gold, and several types of ore. The rivers are used for irrigation and hydroelectric power. The hills of the country used to be heavily forested, but most of the trees have been cut down to use as timber or fuel. Only about 1/5 of the land is farmable, and most are rice farms. The North Korean government is a communist government that controls the life of most of its citizens, even down to their haircut. It's true. Here is an interesting fact. There are only 28 haircuts that have been approved, and so everyone who lives there has to choose from that list. Can you imagine what it would be like to have to choose your haircut from a list? Citizens can be arrested for things like watching a movie that was made in the United States, practicing certain religions, or talking about ideas that threaten the North Korean government. And punishments can be super severe and affect entire families. People do not have freedom of speech or press like people in democratic countries have, which means that the government controls the media and controls the news. This means that propaganda, or news that makes the country look good, is common. In addition to that, internet access is blocked, and most North Koreans have never seen a computer. That is a pretty different lifestyle than most of you are familiar with. Here is another way that North Korea is pretty different from other countries. Most North Koreans are not allowed to travel outside the country, and very few visitors are allowed inside. All those visiting North Korea are closely watched and can only see approved parts of the country. So, Why is North Korea so closed off from the rest of the world? Well, a lot of it has to do with the history of the Korean Peninsula. Korean peoples have lived in the region for thousands of years, and prior to the year 1910, North and South Korea were a single unified country. They share a language to this day. During that time, there was a king, and most of the people were farmers. Then, a war broke out between Japan and Russia, and Japan took over Korea in 1910. During this time, Korean citizens were forced to adopt Japanese names and customs. When Koreans tried to declare independence in 1919, the Japanese military stopped them. In 1945, after Japan's loss in World War II, control of the Korean Peninsula was divided between the United States and the Soviet Union, along what is called the 38th parallel. The Soviets were in the north, and so North Korea became a communist country. The Americans were in the south, and so South Korea became a democratic country. After the Soviets left the country in 1948, there began to be many conflicts between North and South Korea. Namely, that North Korea wanted to unite with South Korea again. This tension led to the Korean War, which lasted from 1950 to 1953. South Korea held on to its independence, and the countries stayed separate from each other. At the end of the war, a neutral, demilitarized zone was created at the border between the countries. The same family has been in charge of the North Korean government since 1950. Today, the head of the government is a man named Kim Jong-un. North Korea continues to be a communist country that has separated itself from the rest of the world. Even though tourism is rare, there are still interesting landmarks and attractions in North Korea. The Juche Tower is a 558-foot monument in Pyongyang that is named after the state ideology of Juche, which means self-reliance. Then there is Mount Paektu, the inactive volcano that we talked about earlier. It is located between North Korea and China. Its last eruption was in 1903. Last is the Arc of Triumph, a 197-foot tall, 164-foot wide structure built in Pyongyang to celebrate Korean resistance to Japan. Wow, we have learned a lot about North Korea today. Let's review. True or false? North Korea is a democratic country. False. It is a communist country. What kind of mountain is Mount Paektu? An inactive volcano. What country invaded the Korean Peninsula in 1910? Japan. Great job, everyone! Even though there are few outsiders who get to see this country for themselves, North Korea is a place filled with people just like you. Even though their lives may be different from your own, with a different set of rules and values, it is still important to remember that people are just people, no matter where they live in the world.
Hope you had fun learning with us. Visit us at learnbright.org for thousands of free resources and turnkey solutions for teachers and homeschoolers.